Yo, what is up guys, Steel Vico here, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're talking about the new Graveyard Shift teaser, as you guys just saw in the beginning. Some really exciting news, some really cool stuff just came out from Spirit Halloween themselves, and I'm, really excited for this one. So, let's just talk real quick about some of the smaller things before we get to the big reveal, near the middle of the video, actually. So the first few things we see, and I apologize here. So, first thing we kind of see is we see this whole, general audience thing they kind of add at the beginning of movies, which kind of almost makes this feel, theatrical, like they're going for something theatrical, because it feels like they're doing something different this year, so it makes you wonder if they're doing, a mini story, an actual story, not just kind of one that just links the props together, if they're doing something like that. If they did, that would be really cool, coming from, a company like this. For them to be that invested with the fans and kind of having a little story with it, I think would be pretty exciting and pretty cool. If that's actually what they're doing, that has yet to be seen. That July 15th probably is when we're going to see what that actually is. It would be pretty interesting how high budget, how well it's actually done. We have no idea. It looks decent. Obviously not going to be a professional short film. But if it is a short film, it certainly will be interesting, worthwhile, and probably really fun to watch. But anyway, on to the next little bit of the video here. You guys are probably just seeing it looped. You guys probably aren't seeing, the parts I'm talking about, but you guys get the gist. I'm going to be looking at the slowed down version I'll put a link to the video of the person that slowed it down that I'll be using. You guys aren't seeing that in the video, you're just seeing the original. Like I said, you guys will be seeing I'll put the link to the slowed down one that I've been using. Alright guys, so now I've kind of got the thing up here. So the first thing we actually see that's anything worthwhile is it appears to be like a body. You see a foot with a tag, so it kind of reminds me of a John Doe thing. A lot of people think that that's gonna be a prop. I don't think so. I think it's just kind of a scene setter thing for the background. In my personal opinion, I think we only see one, maybe two actual animatronics in this video. But then the next thing we see is what appears to be a body on a table with a saw above it, kind of like an operating saw or whatever. And I think that's once again another scene setter thing. I don't think there's actually any prop to that. It's kind of like the experimental Eddie video where we see that person standing on the ladder, and that turned out not to be a prop or anything. A couple people actually thought that was going to be a prop. That's just kind of a background thing to set the scene, not an animatronic, and that's kind of what I think is going on here. I think we only see one animatronic as well as a reference to a second one, and maybe a reference to a third. So, up next, we see a few kind of flashy imagery things. Nothing too extreme or groundbreaking, I don't think, in my opinion anyway. And I'm kind of just watching the video as we go, so if you're wondering why my speech might be broken up a bit, that's why. I'm just going through each step as I go, and I'm just kind of breaking it down as I see it. I've seen this one a few times already, but I'm just kind of trying to process it as I go. So the next thing we see is this, it's like a deer horn or something like that. A skull, nothing too fancy there. I think you can already buy those. I don't think that's a new product exactly. But then we see the Good Times clown doll, and it actually moves. You hear a laugh, and then you see it move. A lot of people think that that's a new thing with the new mech, but I personally, and a lot of the general consensus on that is that it's just some artsy cinematic thing that Spirit did to make it look creepy. Somebody obviously just off camera was moving the I think it's a Good Time clown, and they just moved it off camera. I don't think it's anything fancy, any new animatronic. It's not a new version, not a new mech, anything like that. I think that's all it is. And then we're shown a few other imagery things, like we're seeing balloons, which kind of hint at kind of like a clown circus kind of thing. Quite a few balloons, actually. And then we see cards on the ground. Now, I think these cards might be in reference to the Henry Hustle animatronic / character that was seen in the blueprints of the Graveyard Shift. If you want me to go back and do a video on that, I can. The Graveyard Shift website. I can go back and do a video on that. But Henry Hustle, the Henry Hustle character, a lot of you probably know about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the cards are for in reference to him. So next, we're shown a bunch of more imagery after that. I'm gonna keep using that word. We see at one point we do see what looks like another set of blueprints, which I don't think that's. I think that could be the Henry Hustle blueprints. Actually, no, it's not, because the Henry Hustle has a hat on both. It looks like blueprints for another clown type character. Not too much to say about that. We only see the top of his head, about from the top of his nose to his forehead, and he's not wearing a hat. He's bald. So there's not a lot to go off of there, but maybe new blueprints, another clown character to look out for. And then we have what looks like a skeleton on one of those spinning wheels that the magicians would throw knives at. That is, I'm pretty sure, once again, just another scene thing. Probably not actually an animatronic or prop. Maybe something you can buy. You can maybe buy a cardboard wheel. Maybe that's going to be part of the facade for this theme, although unlikely based on what we on the theme speculations that we have of these animatronics and of the general store theme. Unlikely. So then we're shown a doll and a heart and a few other things. The doll and the heart, we've seen that doll before, I believe, and same with that heart. Once again, it just kind of looks like this kind of a hospital look to it, which is interesting, kind of creepy looking, and too much else to say about that. The next thing we have is the most interesting, is about midway through the video, the biggest, reveal. We see two swirling eyes and a nose that looks all too familiar, with the all too familiar, voice and music. It's Wacky Mole, guys. Wacky Mole is back. Spirit essentially confirmed it at this point. They've literally shown us Wacky Mole, and he looks very, very similar to his original version. I don't really see much difference at all in the face. I mean, I've brightened up the image myself. I've taken a few screenshots of the image of Wacky Mole. Some people have said that they've seen kind of a longer jaw for his mouth to hint at mouth movement. I can't claim that I'm able to see that because I haven't. I might be missing something. I might not have screenshotted the right frames. I may go back and check that. I probably won't update that in this video, but I haven't been able to see it personally, so I can't confirm if that's true or not. But we see Wacky Mole, guys, and that is exciting. There was something in the graveyard shift. There was a pin with, I believe, his Uncle Charlie's bucket and Wacky Mole's hammer, and it definitely was Wacky Mole's hammer. And now we have this, which I think basically confirms that Wacky Mole is coming back. It's kind of interesting that, as far as I can see, we aren't seeing any other animatronics being teased here, from at least what I see. Except for one last animatronic after we see Wacky Mole here. Now, we only get a good glimpse of Wacky Mole's face, but I really think this looks cool, and it looks just like Wacky, like the old Wacky, so hopefully this 100% confirms that he's coming back, because if it doesn't, I have no idea what they're doing and why they would show us this. There's no other reason. So then they give us the website link for the Graveyard Shift, even though a lot of people already know about it. If you go to the website, you get that countdown timer for July 15th, as well as the blueprint images. And then we see a shovel being buried into the ground. This is not like an animatronic or anything. This is literally a shovel. It's a plastic one, albeit. And then a leg. And then we hear wolf, gnarling, growling. And then we see a hand reach for the leg. Now, when I first saw this, I really, really thought this was Limb Ripper, because Limb Ripper holds a leg or an arm. And that looks like a wolf hand reaching down. And I thought they were kind of being artsy with it, to hint at Limb Ripper. However, I did have a friend refute this, and this makes a lot more sense. Mr. Howl is another character that was teased for the Graveyard Shift video, or for the Graveyard Shift. He's on the blueprints of the website, and I believe, after discussion with the friend, that this is Henry Howl. We're seeing some representation that he is coming in, that he is an animatronic that we can expect to see. Is this Henry Howl? Absolutely not. This is a person in a costume with the glove reaching for it, but this definitely represents Mr. Howell's, at least in my eyes, this represents Mr. Howell's, his teaser. This is teasing him. This is a kind of, a representation of him. This isn't actually the animatronic, obviously, because that movement doesn't make any sense. There's no way that he would reach down and grab that leg like that if he was an animatronic. That's just far too realistic. It's obviously a costume. So then the last thing we see is it says July 2021. Now, does this mean the sneak peeks are happening in July 2021? I really hope not. I would be kind of, that's quite a long time, especially since we know that that's going to be July 15th, 2021, because of the countdown timer, which would be kind of a long time to wait. Hopefully, we see a few other sneak peeks here and there if that is truly the case. I really hope it's not. That's just way too long to wait. But who knows? Hopefully, we get Wacky Mole soon in a Flashback Friday. They've all but confirmed his return at this point in a artsy, theatrical fashion, which I really love. I think that's really cool that Spirit's doing this in this type of way, being, with the flashy editing and the cool imagery and the way that they're kind of acknowledging the lore of Spirit with their fans, I think is really fun. With that being said, that's all I have for the analysis on this video. These are my thoughts, what I've gathered from this, watching it a couple times. I haven't seen it like 100 times yet, but I've seen it enough times. It was one of the first things I woke up this morning. I sleep kind of late. I woke up and I saw that Spirit had uploaded another video, and I was like, okay. I watched it a few times so that I could make a speculation, and I eventually got down to making it. It took me a little while, but I did get a few more watches in, so I did gain a few more details from this, as well as I'm glad I did wait a little bit because I was able to find out about Mr. Howell. I was originally going to assume it was Limb Ripper, but it's not. It's probably Mr. Howell, most likely. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed and you guys thought this analysis was helpful at all, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that, and I will see you in the next one.